Have you ever really stopped to think about how your morning coffee gets from some farm halfway across the world into that cup in your hand? Or how a busy hospital manages to save lives with, this incredible clockwork precision? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden engine that makes all of that possible. It's called operations management.
So let's start with a bit of a puzzle. What on earth could a car factory, a bank, and a hospital possibly have in common? I mean, they seem like they're from completely different worlds, right? But if you look a little closer, there's this invisible thread, this really powerful system that connects every single one of them. Any guesses?
The answer is, they all run on operations management. You can think of it as this universal engine, or a master blueprint for creating value. It doesn't matter if that value is a brand new car, a secure bank transfer, or a life-saving medical procedure.
So what is this thing exactly? Well, put simply, operations management is really the art and science of transformation. It's the engine that takes a whole bunch of inputs, we're talking raw materials, people, information, and converts them into the products and services that we all rely on every single day.
Okay, so how does this engine actually work its magic? It really all comes down to a very fundamental process, the creation of value.
Every single operation, and I mean everyone, starts with inputs. The easiest way to think about these is as the raw ingredients. And yeah, that includes the obvious stuff, like wood or steel, but it's also the skilled labor of the people doing the work, the capital that funds the whole thing, and, this is crucial, the information and the management that steers the ship.
And, of course, the entire point of all this is to transform those inputs into outputs. These are the results that customers are actually looking for, and they usually come in the form of tangible goods or intangible services.
And here you can see how it all connects. This right here is the conversion process. You've got your inputs on the left, they go through this transformation in the middle, and then they come out the other side as outputs. That box in the middle, the conversion, that is where all the magic happens. That's where value is literally created out of raw ingredients.
Now, those outputs we just talked about, they pretty much fall into two big categories, goods and services. And even though they both come out of an operation system, managing how they get made could not be more different.
So goods are physical things. You can hold them, you can put them in a warehouse, you can ship them across the world. Think about the phone in your pocket. Services, on the other hand, they're experiences. They happen in real time, like getting a haircut or having a meeting with a consultant. And the real key difference? It's the customer contact. The person who built your phone, you'll never meet them. But your barber, they're right there with you the whole time.
There's this fantastic quote from an operations expert named Richard B. Chase that just sums this all up perfectly. He said, "A service is something that if you drop it on your feet, it won't hurt you." It's so simple, but it's a brilliant way to remember that core difference between a physical product and an experience, isn't it?
Okay, so depending on what a company is making, and just as importantly, how much of it they're making, they're going to use one of four main production blueprints. Let's take a quick look at the playbook for how things actually get made.
Let's just break these down really quick. So, at one extreme, you have mass production. Think Henry Ford's original assembly line, just churning out thousands and thousands of identical cars. Then, way over on the other end of the spectrum, you have a project. This is a totally unique one-off thing, like building a skyscraper or a massive dam. And then somewhere in the middle, you've got batch production, kind of like a local bakery making a few dozen croissants at a time, and job shops, like a tailor making a custom suit just for you. Each of these requires a completely different way of thinking.
So now that you know the basic pieces and the blueprints, something really cool is going to start to happen. You're going to start seeing these operational systems at work all around you. It's almost like putting on a new pair of glasses that lets you see how the world really works.
So managing all these systems means you've got to think on two different levels. First, you've got the huge long-term strategic decisions. These are the big ones. Where are we going to build our next factory? What new product should we launch next year? If you get these wrong, it can be an absolute disaster. And then you have the thousands of daily operational decisions. How many people do we need on shift for the morning rush? When do we reorder more supplies? These are the little things that keep that engine humming smoothly day in and day out.
But here's the catch, and this is a big one. These systems, they don't last forever. They have a life cycle, just like anything else. A system that works perfectly today might be totally obsolete a year from now. And what that means is that the best managers are never satisfied. They are constantly adapting, always improving, and sometimes they're completely reinventing their operations just to stay ahead of the curve.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Operations management isn't just some boring business term.
It's a completely new way of seeing the world. Behind your coffee, behind the apps on your phone, even behind the clean water in your tap, there is a hidden engine of inputs, conversions, and outputs that's working tirelessly. So now that you can see it, how's that going to change the way you look at the world?